Performance budget is an important topic when you're building a new website, as it will make you think about performance in so many ways that you never thought it was actually that complex. And users are expecting fast loading times, and search engines are also now ranking websites based on performance. So you just cannot avoid this topic anymore. But it's actually not that hard to implement, and you should really start getting into it today. So let me help you and define your performance budget. Hey, welcome to this new edition of Digital Blitz, your short brief on everything UX, tech, and compliance. I am Sylvain Reiter, and I'm here to help you succeed in digital by delivering better experiences for your team and your customers. So, what does it mean to define a performance budget? In practice, it's all about selecting a few metrics and setting upper limits for what should be acceptable values for your project. When it comes to a website or web application or an e-commerce store, there are three common metrics for performance budgets. The first one is a target of time. More than just the time it takes for the page to load in full, you need to optimize the rendering order. For example, it needs to measure how long before a user can actually start reading your page. So you need to consider the worst case scenario. For example, someone on an old phone on a slow 3G network and not at home on the latest Wi-Fi and fiber internet. The second one is a target in number of resources. This is a bit easier to track because you can easily limit the number of fonts, the size of the images, the number of JavaScript files, and there are ways to measure and compress all of those during the development stage. And the third one is a target based on specific rules of independent or external measures. There are tools like Page Speed or Google Lighthouse, and you can set targets to aim around like a score of 90%, for example. That would be a great start. But for all those metrics, you need to think of performance budget like a financial budget. You have a set limit and you have to decide how you will spend it, like real money. But the tricky part is that you need to consider that throughout the project. It's not just for developers to compress everything at the end, just before deploying the website. To be successful, it needs to start from the user experience definitions early on, throughout the branding phases, the design, and then the coding. So if you're strict with your target, you would want to reduce the number of fonts and potentially avoid designing too many interactive features that would require third-party libraries, and only then can the developers optimize the code at the end. But you also need to involve the marketing team and their tracking requirements. Because one of the main culprits affecting site performance, and that we don't speak enough, usually comes from tools such as Google Tag Manager, where everyone in the marketing team can then plug in new script and new tracking. They will slow down the entire experience. So the main point is that you must continually test the performance of your site. And think about the long term, not just at a certain point in time when launching the new site. When you look at your roadmap, you could be adding new features and some extra elements in your content management system, but that may introduce a render blocking script that will have an impact on the entire website. So every time you add something, you should have this little bell in your head that reminds you about what is the performance impact of that feature. So to conclude, you can only control what you measure. It's a famous saying, and it applies perfectly here. You need to make sure that you start setting a performance budget with a baseline target. Then you can optimize the entire end-to-end process and keep refactoring to optimize the overall performance. because with a faster loading site, it can only boost your search engine ranking and customers' conversion. So don't delay it any further and make sure all the stakeholders, all the project team members are committed to performance. If you need help with setting up performance budget or need to optimize your current site or application, leave me some comments below or get in touch. You can watch other videos about web optimization on my channel. And don't forget to subscribe to keep learning with me and grow your career in digital. Until next time, stay safe and see you soon.